Imagine Europe, a continent brimming with life, ambition, and burgeoning trade. It was the 14th century, a time of castles, cathedrals, and burgeoning towns, each a hub of activity and commerce. Then, without warning, a dark shadow fell. The continent was suddenly gripped by terror. A mysterious and devastating plague, unlike anything seen before, swept relentlessly across the continent, leaving a trail of death and despair in its wake. It decimated the population, killing 1 in every 3 people. A loss so profound it shook the very foundations of society. No one understood the nature of this invisible enemy, what caused it. The cause remained elusive, shrouded in mystery and fear. Was it God's wrath, a divine punishment for the sins of humanity? Or was it poisoned air, a miasma rising from the earth to choke the life out of everything? Or could it be something else entirely, something unseen and unknown, lurking in the shadows? Fear shattered the bonds of community. The foundations of society began to crumble under the weight of death and uncertainty. Faith wavered, family ties were strained to the breaking point, and order all crumbled into dust. The Black Death didn't just kill people, it did so much more. It destroyed an old way of life, irrevocably altering the course of history. Cities were crowded and filthy, breeding grounds for disease, trade routes bustling, a network of exchange and connection, perfect conditions for disaster to strike. The same networks that brought prosperity and growth now carried death on their ships and in their carts. In just a few short years, the plague spread with terrifying speed. Europe was transformed forever, scarred by loss and forever changed. The world learned in the harshest way imaginable, a brutal and unforgettable lesson, how truly connected it was, and how vulnerable it could be. The stage was set, the pieces were in place for chaos to reign, for change to sweep across the land, and for the resilience of the human spirit to be tested like never before. The Black Death, a name that echoes through history, synonymous with devastation and despair. More accurately known as the Bubonic Plague, it was a terrifying disease caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. Historical evidence suggests it likely began its deadly journey in Central Asia, slowly traveling westward, carried unknowingly by rats and their fleas, stowing away on merchant ships, unknowingly carrying death across the seas. The year was 1347 when ships, fleeing the besieged city of Kaffa, a Genoese trading post on the Crimean Peninsula, unknowingly brought the plague to the shores of Sicily. From there, the disease spread rapidly like wildfire, consuming everything in its path. Its symptoms were terrifying to behold: high fever, debilitating weakness, and the telltale sign, black, swollen buboes or pus-filled boils that signaled almost certain death. Death often came swiftly within a matter of days, sometimes even hours. People, completely clueless about the existence of germs and bacteria, desperately blamed bad air or miasma, the alignment of the stars, or saw it as divine punishment for their sins. Panic and superstition ruled every decision, as no one truly knew how to effectively fight this invisible and relentless enemy. All attempts to stop it were largely desperate, misguided, and ultimately futile. The plague's arrival, a silent and unseen killer, marked the horrifying start of a nightmare that would forever change Europe. No corner of Europe could escape its deadly grasp. Helplessness and paralyzing fear gripped every level and every corner of society, from the highest noble to the lowliest peasant. The Black Death struck with shocking speed, wiping out entire towns. Cities like Florence and London lost half their people, bodies piled up in the streets. Survivors were traumatized, families torn apart, and communities shattered. Fear led to scapegoating. Jewish communities faced brutal persecution and violence. The plague was a grim equalizer, killing rich and poor, clergy and commoner alike. Even priests and doctors died in droves, unable to help. The old social order was shaken to its core. Certainty and trust in the world vanished. The plague spread through fleas on rats thriving in filthy, crowded towns. It struck in 3 forms: bubonic, pneumonic, and septicemic, each deadly in its own way. Medieval medicine was helpless. Bloodletting and strange potions did nothing. Plague doctors in beaked masks tried to ward off bad air. One breakthrough emerged: quarantine. Cities like Ragusa isolated ships and people, slowing the spread. This simple idea became a cornerstone of public health. Amid darkness, a glimmer of hope appeared. The Black Death, a catastrophe of unimaginable scale, swept across Europe, leaving a trail of devastation and despair in its wake. But from the ashes of this unprecedented tragedy, a new world, transformed and resilient, slowly emerged, like a phoenix rising from the flames. With so many dead, the sheer number of lives lost created a profound shift in the social and economic landscape. Labor became incredibly valuable, a precious commodity in a world desperately short of hands. Consequently, peasants, now acutely aware of their worth, began to demand better wages and greater freedom from their feudal lords. The rigid feudal system, once seemingly unshakable, began to crumble and collapse under the weight of these new demands. Simultaneously, a new and ambitious middle class rose to prominence, fueled by trade and commerce. The church's long-held authority also weakened considerably, as people, grappling with unimaginable loss, questioned its power and its explanations for the tragedy. Art and culture grew darker and more introspective, reflecting the pervasive sense of mortality. Society became obsessed with death, the ephemeral nature of existence, and the fragility of life itself. The collective trauma sparked new ideas and a thirst for knowledge. There was a distinct move towards science, empirical observation, and a deeper understanding of the natural world. Old certainties and traditions gave way to a new era of questioning and exploration. This paved the way to innovation, technological advancement, and profound societal change. The plague, in its own devastating way, forced Europe to confront its limitations and modernize its structures, ultimately reshaping society forever and laying the groundwork for the Renaissance. Even the darkest and most challenging crisis has the potential to spark renewal, resilience, and a new beginning. The Black Death's profound legacy continues to echo and resonate in our world today, reminding us of humanity's capacity for both destruction and rebirth.